if you can just sort of give a little bit of description of how a day of a cloud engineer looks like, maybe if the viewers would like to know about it. Though I completely understand that it varies from company to company, organization to organization, but still there are some standard roles that a cloud engineer is expected to perform, at least in their initial years, right? So if you can just throw a little bit light on that, and what roles are they expected to perform in their daily day-to-day tasks, what type of technical tasks they are expected to perform.
Sure. Even it's a great questions to ask. So probably most of them will get in clarity that what is their day-to-day job role, rather than seeing the 2 pages of JD and not able to understand what is there in that role. So I'll tell you, like, there are, if you wanted to become a great cloud engineer, there is couple of tools and technology which you have to we focus, and one of them is the knowledge of their infrastructure tool, which you will know it, right? So using this, what is their role in day to day? So cloud engineering role is they'll build the end-to-end environment for the customers or the client. They help the architecture to understand how this different cloud services can integrate it, how they can functions, what are their dependencies and things in and around. They help them to do a POC of their specific projects. They help them to automate some of those operations. They help them to do integrate CI/CD pipeline, DevOps, and all of those things. They also have to learn Terraform scripts or a PowerShell to have those manual tasks to be automated. Sometime they also become, they wanted to also, like, if you have some of those 2 years or 3 years experience, right, you will also have to act as an architect. I'm just integrating to as an architect, but you cannot, your role would be in engineering, but sometimes you'll have to think through this architect journey, that how these things are getting implemented, because your colleague who's a senior to might not be aware of those things, because technology is changed is so much of these things. They might not get the time, but then they might expect you to design some things, or either in Visio, or in a PPT, or the documentation. That's important things. And as and when, as an engineer, if you think only the technical work is your work, and then documentations and other stuff is not your work, that is two different things, right? You should be knowing it, your technical and non-technical skills, because you're going to implement. But whenever you're going to give an handover to someone, they'll understand while looking at that document what you have configured. You can explain them over the call, people will forget. But the document which you have created and shared with them, that will be there in their library, and when they looked out, they'll know that who has given, and they'll remember your name. So these are, really, like, 90% in cloud engineering will work on the technical stuff to implement things, having that naming conventions, tagging, strategy, how they are going to write the Terraform scripts, how they're going to implement it, what are the requirement. You also, like, as an architect, I also connect with my cloud engineering team, saying that, can you give me the requirement? Is there any new features which we can integrate? Is there any things that, what are the access you need? What are the things you need, right? So more of, if I can describe into the forward planning, build, operations, and monitoring, including any criteria. These are the four major part where the cloud engineering 90% will be involved. 10% would be in here and there. If you are an expert, probably you can help your architect to get the success as in one team. But these are the four major criteria where anyone, if you are starting as in cloud engineering role, will be fit. Which either you are in network secure or the infrastructure or overall those three. So engineering role, if you have a overall knowledge you will be more effective and more productive because you know what needs to be done. Rather than specialize into the one topic, you'll have to go universally and get that specializations around the cloud engineering role. And people much expect from the engineers than to the architect, and have been that journey to through. So they'll ask everything. You have to do this. You have to do this. And probably I would love to hear your experience as well because you're in that role.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, you know what I've learned in this journey till now of my being a cloud engineer, that it is an eye on a glass sort of a job, right? You have to always be on your toes, right? You cannot take anything lightly. What I love about my job is, firstly, we are, instead of just being catering to one particular field, we are looking into all the fields, right? And second thing is, every day there is something new to learn, believe me or not. Every day I'm becoming a better version of what I was the previous day in terms of the technical knowledge, right? And I think that's what even I love about cloud engineering as a field. It just makes you more responsible as well, because the position that, at least how we work here in my company, that it's a very responsible position, right? So you have to do things with utmost
Yep.
diligence.